Hey guys, it's Landon again. Welcome back to the channel. This video will be a bit different. While it is a top 10 video, which we've done before of course, it is also a celebration. I want to personally thank you all for helping me reach 50 subscribers on YouTube. I know it seems like a small amount right now, but it's my first milestone and I want to thank you guys for helping me reach that goal. Before we jump into the actual point of the video, I'd like to talk about a few things concerning the next couple of months of my channel. As you guys may know, I've been doing the Pokemon Omega Ruby Nuzlocke challenge since the beginning of June. Because the series has not finished yet and I want to wrap it up before Sword and Shield, I'm going to be doing my new Fire Red Randomizer Nuzlocke simultaneously with it. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am to start that. Also, school starts on Monday for me, so I'll attempt recording and editing one video from each series, go up every week, along with another countdown or discussion video. Alright guys, I've talked enough about other matters, so let's get into the real point of this video, the opposite of my last countdown, my top 10 least favorite Pokemon of all time. Floating in the number 10 spot is the poison gas Pokemon Weezing. The reason I keep this Pokemon at the number 10 spot is really because I only dislike it for one major reason. Self-destruct and explosion. I really never disliked this Pokemon until I kept going into battles to gain experience for party members and then getting exploded on by either its pre-evolved form Coughing or Weezing itself. Some could make the argument that I shouldn't dislike Weezing because of its explosive abilities, while Graveler and Golem can also learn these moves. There's more reason to love this line than to hate it for that one thing, while Weezing doesn't really bring much to the table for me to like. Another example is Volbeat and Electrode being able to use these type of moves. All I have to say for poor Weezing is that the only thing that can save it now is its Galarian form. Sliding into the number 9 spot is the Keyring Pokemon Klefki. Klefki has a similar reason to Weezing for why I don't like it, and it's for one major reason. Inconvenient story time! One fine day, I went into the rundown mall in Ultra Moon to attempt a shiny hunt for Mimikyu, and this hunt went on for hours. Not only did this hunt stretch on for 3 days, it was ruined by, you guessed it, a shiny Klefki. I'm not one to complain about getting shinies I don't have instead of another one I didn't have before. I purposely wasn't hunting Klefki because I wasn't that fond of it. I have yet to return to the hunt for shiny Mimikyu, but in the meantime, I will be keeping a stink eye on Klefki. Flying into the number 8 spot is the Firefly Pokemon Elomoise. In case you were expecting this experience to be that I couldn't correctly pronounce Elomoise's name originally, that's another story for another time. I dislike Elomoise because of how annoyingly higher the chance to encounter Elomoise over Volbeat is in the original Ruby and Sapphire. I know this seems like a stupid reason to dislike a Pokemon, but hear me out. Volbeat is the only Pokemon that I have ever hunted for without looking for its shiny Pokemon, and it's ridiculous how rare it is in the original games. If you did not know, in the original games, Volbeat was only available on one single patch of grass in the whole game. Thinking about how Elomoise is literally the female version of Volbeat, and then I keep on getting it instead of the thing I'm looking for, just makes me hate it even more. Another factor for my hatred is that I feel like it couldn't have been designed better. Volbeat looks like it has a neck pillow and it's about to go on a long trip on an airplane, but Elomoise looks like it's wearing a wig. Bugs with hair are just not a good thing for me. Not only did the single patch of grass thing make Volbeat annoyingly harder to find, but Elomoise also made those encounters annoying and made a long hunt to fill the Pokédex. Revealing itself in the number 7 spot is the color swap Pokemon Kecleon. Being the first Pokemon on this list for me to dislike because of its appearance, Kecleon has never been a very pleasing Pokemon to see for me. Using it on any team overall has never really been an option for me because I really couldn't see myself using it. And I feel let down by how it's the only chameleon Pokemon that can blend itself into its surroundings. I feel let down by how it's representing chameleons as the only chameleon Pokemon to blend into its surroundings. I've never really said it before, but chameleons are one of my favorite animals, and I've always wanted more representation for them in the series. Another annoying thing about Kecleon is how its stripe is still visible when it hides itself, making the survival tactic pointless, and its predators will still be able to see it even when it's hidden. I'm thrilled to be knowing that we are getting a new starter Pokemon, Sobble, which can blend into its surroundings and be completely hidden instead of having a visible stripe when it turns invisible. Dropping into the number 6 spot is the bagworm Pokemon Wormadam. The name of the Pokédex gives is just the beginning of my personal issues with this Pokemon. Ugh, bagworm. It sounds like a kind of worm you get from eating bad food or something. Burmy is a pretty cute Pokemon, and is one of the first Pokemon I used in Pokemon Diamond. Of course, since this was my first playthrough, I was unaware that its being female would make it evolve into this abomination of a Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate both of Burmy's evolutions. Mothim is a really cool Pokemon, and I can see why the Bugmaster himself, Dan aka A-Drive, has this male evolution of Burmy as his favorite Pokemon. But I have yet to meet the person who genuinely thinks Wormadam is the best Pokemon in existence. If you've seen the episodes of the anime where Burmy loses all of its leaves, I can actually see it working as an actual Pokemon without its leaves. Wormadam, on the other hand, would most likely look terrible and disgusting without its leaves, and I don't even want to begin to imagine what that would be like. Teleporting in as its confined form is the mischief Pokemon Hooba. Worst Pokemon movie ever. Hoopa's hate probably sounds like a broken record to you all now, considering most people hate it for the same reasons. And that's how freaking annoying it is in the 18th movie for the Pokemon anime, Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. The X and Y anime was one of the greatest installments in the anime, and it had its ups and downs like all the animes do. And the movie that followed the end of the second season was definitely at the bottom of the pile for this series. At the time of watching this anime, I was 12 years old, and it was definitely annoying to hear Hoopa say the same thing over and over, let alone speak. Before you argue that the franchise is aimed towards younger children, my youngest brother, who was aged 7 at the time, exclaimed that he was going to bash his head into the wall if he had to hear Hoopa say one more cheesy line, so that argument clearly does not work on me. Crawling into the number 4 spot is the regional variant form of the classic cat Pokemon Persian. This Pokemon is the last Pokemon on this list that I will just be lightly brutal to, even though I'm about to say a lot about it. I'm just letting you know that Wormadam back there was just me going easy on it. Let's just start with its appearance. Everyone knows that half of the Alolan forms are good and the other half is bad. It really depends on your personal opinion on which ones are good and which ones are bad. In my opinion, Alolan Persian is at the bottom of the spectrum. Alolan forms, original variants on their own, were a brilliant idea in the first place because it represents another major branch of evolution, Darwin's theory of changing species by location. Yeah, I bet you guys didn't know I love me some science. Evolution is by far the best scientific subject in my opinion, and I loved every second of it in my studies in biology class this past school year. My interest motivation, you guessed it, is Pokemon. Since you know this about me now, think I'd enjoy all the regional variants. I do, except for Meowth and Persian. Some of the reasons for Alolan forms differences include Rattata and Raticate, who changed their appearance to become nocturnal to hide from the Yungoos and Gumshoos who prey on them, the Geodude line becoming electric type because of the electric current running through most of the caves in Alola, and Grimer and Muck who changed color because of the shades of the colorful trash in Alola, or the colorful objects that they eat. But what is Meowth and Persian's reason for change, you may ask? Pride. According to the Pokemon's website, the Meowth that were offered to the royal family lived a life of luxury and pampering, which led them to have a selfish and prideful attitude. This caused Meowth's form to change. That's it. The reason why Meowth looks different in Alola is because they're selfish assholes who literally have big heads when they evolve. So if you haven't wondered why Alolan Persian looks like Garfield, it's because it's full of itself. Walking into the number 3 spot is the list of garbage, Pokemon Fairmosa. I cannot stress my head enough for this ugly, disgusting, stilt-legged, bobble-headed, straw-haired, chopstick-looking head-ass. But I'm going to express my feelings in this video. Fairmosa is not only the worst Ultra Beast, but it's a sorry excuse for a legendary. You might be thinking I have an issue with Pokemon that look like or are actually confirmed to be full of themselves, and you might be right, because Fairmosa just might be one of them. It looks like the mean girl at school who got its popularity by wearing makeup and being assholes to people all the time. That's the thing. Pokemon shouldn't look like they're wearing makeup unless they're Mr. Mime. You can go ahead and call Bruxish one of our dishonorable mentions for this video. Like I've mentioned before, I try to keep things child appropriate on this channel, so I'm not going to get into more detail about why I hate this, or I might have to take this video down. Falling into the number 2 spot is the ball Pokemon Electrode. My hatred for this Pokemon fumes from the ball, no pun intended, of uncreativity, yes I made up a word, just to express my feelings for this piece of crap, created from the aura of this Pokemon. When Gen 1ers or people that say item Pokemon are terrible after Generation 1, just send them an image of this stupid thing. Guys, Ken Sugimori is a legend, but you have to admit, this was the downside of Generation 1. Well, at least before my number 1 spot, but we'll get into that in a little bit. The Voltorb is literally just a giant Pokeball with eyes, and when it evolves, it just gets bigger, turns itself upside down, and grows a mouth for some reason. The only way that would make sense is if the theory about Voltorb being Pokeballs possessed by Haunter, therefore evolving it into Gengar, when it evolves into Electrode, therefore giving it a Cheshire Grin, is a true theory. I get tired of people calling Vanillix a stupid ice cream cone or a trashy item Pokemon, when if Electrode and Voltorb were introduced in a later generation, they would be bashed on. Vaulting into the number 1 spot is Nicki Minaj. I mean the human-shaped Pokemon Jinx. I'm just gonna make a quick top 10 reasons why I hate this thing just to make this video just a little bit shorter. Number 10, it looks like Nicki Minaj. Number 9, its original color looked like blackface. That was a mistake on its own. Number 8, it's super creepy. Number 7, its lips are way too big. Number 6, it looks like it eats children. Number 5, it could have been designed way better than it is right now. Number 4, it gained a pre-evolution and a later gen and it still looks better than Jinx. Number 3, it's annoying to battle in Generation 1 games, especially late game. Number 2, it shouldn't be ice type. Like, look at the thing. It's wearing a dress. Does that look like it should be ice type? And number 1, all of the previous reasons multiplied by 10. This is the absolute worst Pokemon, and I hate it so much that I get lost trying to describe my hatred for it. Well, there you go. Those were my top 10 least favorite Pokemon of all time. I did put a little more effort into this video, while this video is scripted, while the last one just came out of the top of my head. I just want to thank you guys once again for 50 subscribers, and I'm excited to see what happens for the future of my YouTube channel. This is Inferno Men burning out, and I'll see you in the next video.